Howdy, I'm Shreeman Kuppa Jayaram, and I will be analyzing the Bollywood film Taare Zameen for my final project. Imagine you're a 6-year-old child. As curious and playful you are, society around you punishes you for not meeting social standards. From verbal reprimands, humiliation, or hitting your hand for making mistakes. Taare Zameen translates to like stars on earth, showing how unconditional love can change one perspective of life. In our modern, competitive world, we push to create high achieving students who become successful, but relegate those left behind. The film portrays how the environment can revitalize one's self esteem, particularly a person facing this. One who cannot spell and write properly, yet has the same intelligence as us. The movie covers dyslexia, a DSMV IV reading disorder, recently added, and is an umbrella term for those who are struggling linking phonetic sounds to phrases. In other words, the sensory perception being affected. It affects about 20% of the population, regardless of what language you speak, though impoverished areas have higher rates due to the lack of education accessibility. The pervading unawareness of symptoms, both by the individual and others, leads to mislabeling him or her and destroying their ability to succeed. Alright, so say you don't know Chinese and you're given this text. You'll adopt Gestalt's development approach, being able to recognize small shapes and strokes and slowly piecing the info from the bottom up. The film describes a dyslexic son of two parents named Ishaan, who displays motor skill impairment. In one scene of the movie, the boy believes the letters in a book are dancing and struggles to pronounce the words in class. This could be interpreted as social phobia, where in the movie ending, the boy avoids eye contact when receiving the first prize, recognizing his painting talent. While he does feel emotions as well as us, the movie accurately describes how continuous punishment on a dyslexic individual can make them numb to their strengths and does not accept themselves as they are. Do all dyslexic individuals feel no pleasure? The science and movies shows otherwise, showing that how dyslexic students are more right-brained, being more creative problem solvers and thinkers with the ability to express emotions in different ways. The boy goes on an adventure in the movie and gets fascinated by small things like people eating ice cream or drinking water, and he tries to imitate them as well. He paints, draws, and communicates that way. Of course, he can rapidly change emotions, which is not always characteristic of all dyslexics, but the fear of just being diagnosed as being abnormal and feeling unloved and separated really affect dyslexics a lot. I believe that dyslexia can be treated via active listening and humanistic positive therapy. This preserves the sanctity of human interactions through methods like client-centered therapy, where therapists talk to the person being affected. So what? It creates a sense of self-fulfillment from inside and finding meaning through their strengths. As you can see in the painting on the right, this was the painting that Ishaan made at the end and he got the first prize for. So genuine reactions is being involved, and there's unconditional positive regard and empathy and authenticity across the differences, which I'll be explaining more later. But what are some ethical concerns? I feel that there's no clear standardized evidence-based methods, and it kind of emphasizes the innocence or naivety in human nature. And of course, developing the trust and verbal communication with dyslexics is going to take a lot of time. In schools like in India and impoverished areas, there's often a lack of funding, a lack of understanding or support for changing their attitudes towards special needs children, especially dyslexics. However, there's a deeper interpretation. Diagnosis is just half the problem, but seeing reading as being discrete rather than categorical is extremely rewarding. We all have symptoms from various disorders, not always with consistency, of course. Also, diagnosing systems is very subjective in determining how much cure you can give to an individual. In the movie, the teacher addresses this problem by changing the environment and through reinforcement, by allowing others to feel the same pattern of thoughts, as you can see by using a mirror image. Why does it work? It reduces the feeling of abnormality and disconnection on the individual, and it targets the cause at a subconscious level. And it's rewarding for me to see how one can see beyond one's experiences when done without judgment, and feeling that you're not at fault for your shortcomings. Sometimes your environment shares the responsibility too. While the movie was amazing, this movie could have showed rather than mentioning some of the symptoms, and I think it places too much emphasis on targeting and removing social stigma. True enough, the person feels more free will in feeling happy, but what's the end goal? Perhaps inner freedom? Maybe self-actualization? I feel that I could have portrayed the power of inner drive and carved an inspirational story out of it too. Thank you.